home for the most local news. News 10 ABC in the morning starts now.
We begin with some breaking news. Good morning. I'm News 10 ABC's Mary Wilson. 2 people have been arrested in connection to the quadruple homicide in Troy. Let's go straight out to News 10 ABC's Lexi Nall at Troy City Court this morning with some details for us. Hi, Lexi.
Hi, Mary. Good morning. That's right. 2 suspects will be arraigned at Troy City Court right behind me this morning at 8:30 a.m. Now, so far, Troy PD has been very tight-lipped about this investigation, but they do say these murders were just horrific.
Anya, after being in this business for almost 42 years, I can't describe the savagery of a person like this. I don't know of a word that can say it.
Troy Police Chief John Tedisco says that these murders were brutal in nature, but many questions still remain in this very active investigation. The victims include 36-year-old Shanta Myers and her partner, 22-year-old Brandy Mills. Myers' 2 children were also found dead in their basement apartment on December 26th. That's 11-year-old Jeremiah Myers and his little sister, 5-year-old Shanice Myers. The case and manner of death, as well as a possible motive, still have not been announced, but police say this was not a random act.
There's tons of information coming in. It's being run down as it comes in by detectives. And we're hopeful that, that we're going to come to a good conclusion here and catch our killer or killers.
Now, police ask that anyone with more information contact them or go to the Crime Stoppers website. Again, this arraignment is set for 8:30 a.m. this morning right here. Our crews will be here. I will be here. Depend on News 10 for all your updates as they do become available. For now, I'm live in Troy. Lexi Nall, News 10, ABC.
Yeah, be sure to join us at 9 o'clock this morning for the very latest on that. Getting to your weather now, the other big story of the day, a story that's been continuing now for quite a few days.
I know, and although we have been well below average and we're going to stay that way into 2018, it's feeling much more like the norm around here, I guess. Just those very, very cold temperatures and a lot of cars struggling out there, batteries dying, a lot of cars on the sides of the roads during this difficult travel time. We're going to stay cold all day long today. High only around 17 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, keeping us feeling kind of gloomy. We'll see some light snow across the region throughout the day today as well, a dusting up to an inch in spots, which will wrap up around 5 p.m. or so. So looking at that satellite and radar, we can see that snow already getting started and working its way in from the west. Light snow as we head through the afternoon hours, bringing with it a lot of clouds. So you may see some flurries out your window throughout the day today. Only very light accumulations again. For the time being here in Albany, 3 degrees. Our winds are around 5 miles an hour. So that's putting our feels-like temperature below 0 out there this morning. And our current temperatures really show that as well. Knox sitting at 3 degrees, Hageman at 0. And the further north we go, that's where we see our just excruciating temperatures of negative 15 degrees right now in Saranac Lake, negative 10 in Long Lake. So as we head through the rest of the day, we will see those light snow showers developing across the region. This showing right around 7 a.m., kind of resonating with what we will see around 10 a.m. A little bit more snow around the region, but that cold sticking around as we ring in a 2018. So we'll take a look at that New Year's Eve forecast in my weather coming up in the next few minutes. Mary?
Thanks, Christina. New details now. A haunting video showing the inside of that Bronx apartment building that caught fire. The path of destruction after flames raced up those stairs, claiming at least 12 lives. The youngest victim just a year old in the deadliest fire in New York City in more than a quarter century. The walls blackened by smoke, water still dripping from floors above. Fire officials revealing the deadly blaze ignited in the kitchen of a first-floor unit.
It started from a young boy, 3.5 years old, playing with the burners on the stove.
That boy's mother coming out of the shower to find smoke. Officials say the fire spread so quickly, in part because she left the door open when she fled the apartment with her son and 2-year-old. Families and neighbors now sharing heartbreaking stories of loss. One man saying his son, who was in the Army, died trying to help his neighbors next door get out.
When I couldn't find him, then I started, panicking. I know there's something wrong.
26 people were injured in that fire. Officials say 4 are in critical condition. The district attorney office is calling this an accident and is not investigating. It's tough to save people on a normal day, but when conditions are like this, frigid, cold, it's a challenge unlike anything else they face. In Slingerlands, crews battling back against flames coming from a home. A 91-year-old man was flown to the Westchester burn unit. His dog died shortly after. And just days ago, another fire in Guilderland. The man who lived there found dead inside. The Albany County Sheriff says when the temperatures get this cold, it's tougher than ever for crews.
People are cold and they're trying everything they can do to stay warm.
He has these safety reminders. Start by making sure space heaters aren't too close to curtains and check that your heat vents are clear. If you use propane to help warm up your home, we have some safety tips for that coming up in the next half hour. Now to a concerning story. A woman fighting off a potential attacker in a local city. Happened in Mechanicville. Police say while the woman was crossing the train tracks behind the Price Chopper, an unknown man tried to grab her. She fought him off before he ran away. There's a description here of the suspect on your screen. A white man about 5'5" in his 30s with acne or scarring on his face. Anyone with information is asked to call Mechanicville Police. Their number is there on your screen. You can also find it on our website, news10.com. Continuing coverage on the effort to keep Times Square secure this New Year's Eve. The bitter cold adding yet another layer of concern, not just because of the dangerous temperatures, but also because revelers will be bundled up, raising concern about what could be hidden under those layers of thick coats. That's why they're adding vapor wake dogs that can sniff out even a trace amount of explosives that could be hidden in coats. An increase in security from above ground, underground, and in the air. They will soon shut down all garages within the secure perimeter to ward off potential truck bombs, clearing everyone out before screening each person who comes in to Times Square.
From the magnetometers to the explosive detection canine or vapor wake dogs to the explosive trace machines that we will, similar to the airports, where we can swab the handles of a bag and put it through a machine in a few seconds.
Remember, umbrellas and bags are banned from this year's celebration. Authorities emphasizing there's no credible threat, but they are not taking any chances. When it comes to ringing in 2018 here in the capital region, many counties allow small ground-based fireworks to celebrate the new year and the 4th of July. Just a reminder, these fireworks do not shoot into the air. Those are still illegal, but you might notice a few fireworks stands popping up in a parking lot near you. Happening today, the eastbound tunnel under the Empire State Plaza will be closed at 7 o'clock, so crews can repair a water main break this morning. Anyone traveling west on 787 will have to get off at South Swan Street and will not be able to loop around. The roadway will be opened once the repairs are done. Ring in the new year with some luck. Sounds good, right? Imagine starting off 2018 a multi-millionaire. It could be possible for one extremely lucky person. There was no winner in last night's Mega Millions drawing. That means it's now worth $343 million. The Powerball jackpot is now at $384 million. The odds of you winning both are beyond astronomical. Listen to this. The chances, 1 in 88 quadrillion. That's 15 decimal points. You are more likely to get struck by lightning, of course. The Powerball drawing is tonight, the Mega Millions on Tuesday night. So maybe you can't start off your year with millions of dollars, but how's a free coffee sound? If you're traveling, the State Thruway Authority is continuing a 47-year tradition, offering hot drinks at Travel Plaza starting at 11 p.m. New Year's Eve. Stewart's Shops have free coffee deals from 6 p.m. until close on New Year's Day. And Cumberland Farms also offering a free cup of joe from 5 p.m. New Year's Eve until 5 a.m. New Year's Day. You can find more New Year freebies on our News 10 ABC app. If you don't have it, get it for free on Google Play or the App Store. Still to come, a disabled woman tumbles down an escalator. Why her family says the airline is responsible for that fatal fall. And later, New Year's Eve partiers will be faced with frigid weather, but the area's largest celebration will go on. Ways to stay warm at First Night Saratoga. First, though, a check of the roads this morning. I-87 north of the Twin Bridges. Just looking outside makes me cold. 3 degrees right now.
Watching News 10 ABC in the morning.
Breaking overnight, an officer shot in an ambush-style attack. It happened in Los Angeles. Few details are known at this time, but one person has allegedly been taken into custody. Officials say the female officer was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, but they're still searching for suspects. A shocking accident caught on video. Bernice Cacona was supposed to take a flight home, but instead takes this fall down an escalator. The 74-year-old tumbling down 21 on steps at the Portland airport, her heavy wheelchair landing there on top of her as Good Samaritans rushed to her rescue. ABC's Clayton Sandell explains why her family is now suing the airline.
It could be somebody else's grandma, mom, sister that this could happen to.
Kekona was connecting in Portland last June on her way from Maui home to Spokane. Her family says they arranged with Alaska Airlines for an escort between gates, but they claim Alaska's gate-to-gate service contractor, Huntley USA, abandoned her.
They walked away and Bernice became confused, and she pulls up to the escalator thinking that she's getting on the elevator at that point.
Alaska says we're heartbroken by this tragic and disturbing incident, but says it appears that Ms. Kekona declined ongoing assistance in the terminal and decided to proceed on her own to her connecting flight. Kekona's family says the fall left her bedridden, in constant pain for the next 3 months. She died in September. They are now suing Huntley USA and Alaska Airlines.
It's not going to bring her back, obviously, but someone needs to own up. Someone needs to take responsibility.
Clayton Sandell with that report. As for the contractor, Huntley USA, they haven't said too much, but the CEO told ABC News they are reviewing the facts of the case. Very troubling to watch that. All right, here in the Weather Center with Christina Ernie. It's a big weekend for people going out on the town celebrating 2018. Not a good weekend for it, though.
Absolutely not. We just came off of a holiday week for a lot of people trying to get out and hit the slopes.
Yes.
And now a lot of people trying to get outside to ring in the new year. A lot of people in Times Square, we know, across the country as well.
Yeah.
Just too cold.
Right.
And a lot of these events we know are still going on, but with temperatures sub-zero, it will be dangerous.
It doesn't take long to see some of the harmful effects of the cold.
Definitely not. And we start this morning very cold as well. We'll take a look outside with our Stewart Shop Storm Tracker weather cam from Stuyvesant Plaza. Just looking frigid out there, mostly cloudy. That sun off in the distance trying to come up, but we won't see much of a sunrise early on this morning. Just frigid temperatures dominating our forecast for the day today. So while we factor in those wind chills, winds right now around 5 miles an hour across the region, nothing compared to what we will be seeing later today and tomorrow. But our feels like temperatures right now are well below zero. It feels much more like -6 degrees here in Albany, -3 in Saratoga, -8 in Glens Falls, -7 in North Creek. So if you have anywhere to go early this morning, make sure you are bundled up. It takes just around 30 minutes or less for frostbite to kick in. As for what we will see over the next few days, the next week for that matter, a big trough of cold air sweeping across the country, keeping us very, very cold with that Arctic blast of air for the foreseeable future, especially in our 7-day forecast. So get used to these temperatures, just so incredibly cold, and be sure to take all the precautions as temperatures will be feeling much more like -15 to -25 overnight. We are seeing a little bit of snow early on this morning from a clipper system, 2 clipper systems pushing through the region. Some moisture getting squeezed in between them, so a lot of our snow will stay south of the capital region, but then lake effect as well will pick up right off the lake, so a little bit more snow into the North Country as well. So we can expect some light flurries and light snow showers across the region throughout the day today. This, as we head into the evening as well, around the time that the sun goes down, that's where we'll start to see those light snow showers clear up. We're only expecting about a coating to an inch across the region, the inch being in those higher elevations, and all of that clears out as we head into Sunday. Those clear skies leading to those just extremely cold temperatures heading into our Sunday. That's why we have a wind chill advisory up for overnight tonight into tomorrow, and we'll likely have one as well for our New Year's Eve. So if you have any plans, just make sure to bundle up and try to limit your time outside as well. The same goes for the day today, a high near 17 degrees. It'll be feeling much colder than that though. Light snow flurries ending by tonight, a low of 3 degrees overnight tonight, but again, it will be feeling like sub-zero with those wind chills, 7 to 12 mile an hour winds. Our 7-day forecast shows us 10 degrees for a high on Sunday, only 9 degrees for our high as we ring in 2018. And by next week, temperatures barely escape the 20s as we head through late next week as week. No major snowstorms, just frigid weather. Download our News 10 Storm Tracker weather app on Google Play or the App Store. You'll want to have that for your New Year's Eve forecast.
Yes, and to warm up your heart just a little bit, here's a great story. Jedis beware. There's a little boy who has the power to sway the Force.
A stormtrooper hand.
Jacob received a custom-made prosthetic stormtrooper hand for Christmas. He was born with just a thumb and partial fingers on his right hand.
He's been so frustrated trying to change and to fit in with the other kids.
Thanks to the Valley nonprofit Moore Foundation, he won't have any trouble fitting in now. Jacob can now battle it out like he's never been able to before. I can just imagine him showing up to school after winter break and the kids just surrounding him and saying, "So cool."
Yeah, it's probably the coolest gift of Christmas for sure.
Absolutely.
Especially with Star Wars being so huge
Such a
now.
huge craze.
Yeah.
Still to come this morning. The bitter cold won't stop New Year's Eve festivities in Saratoga. How organizers say first night crowds will have ways to warm up. And the number of deadly house fires on the rise this month. The push for a certain kind of life-saving equipment to be installed in all new homes.
You're watching News 10 ABC in the morning.
New details in an effort to prevent tragic house fires. There's now a push for sprinkler systems to be installed in new homes. This after New York's fire chiefs say there was a high number of people killed in home fires this December. They say that a fire suppression system could give everyone from children to the elderly enough time to escape and survive a fire, and that changes in building codes could save hundreds of lives down the road. This morning, thousands are preparing to ring in the new year without electricity. Nearly half of Puerto Rico is still without power, months after Hurricane Maria devastated that island. During that time, there have been no details from the Puerto Rican government on the number of people now living without electricity. Instead, they've focused on things such as power generation. Last night, officials said about 55% of clients who are able to receive electricity have had their power restored. Renewed concerns about the water in the Hudson River. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service issuing a letter to the EPA citing what they call significant PCB contamination left in the Hudson River. At his second State of the State proposal, Governor Cuomo promising to take immediate action against the EPA if they announce the cleanup to be complete. PCBs are man-made chemicals that can potentially cause cancer and other adverse health effects in both humans and animals. We're preparing for a bitter cold New Year's Eve and a chilly start to 2018. The coldest night is expected to be tomorrow night. For millions, it will be the coldest New Year's Eve in decades. In Saratoga Springs, organizers are preparing for the city's huge New Year's Eve bash, saying it will continue despite the cold. News 10 ABC's Rachel Yankunis has more.
One of the stages is here at the Saratoga Arts Center. All of this excitement happening indoors. Fortunately, this button is your golden ticket inside to the warm venues if you want to catch the live acts from music and comedy to magic. A little cold never bothered Alex Jones, who starts planning First Night Saratoga in March, coordinating 9 vendors and more than 70 performances.
Some groups like the Saratoga Youth Symphony have 40 kids in them. Other groups is just a solo performer. Comedy Works has 3 different comedians.
At the City Center, their stages are set.
Really, it's emblematic of the town of Saratoga Springs, how the arts community and the business community can come together to put on an event like no other city in the state can do.
Though most of the excitement happening indoors, organizers are prepared for the extreme cold. Expect heaters along Broadway, but the jury is still out on whether it will be too cold for some.
At this point, we're undecided. If it's this cold, I don't think so.
That's all right. It's winter, you know. What do you expect?
And we figure it'll be a little better to be able to go into all the little places that we've been wanting to, but may not necessarily go to if it's warm out.
Sometimes the cold is just enough to draw people out of their homes and cozy up with friends and family as the clock strikes 12. Now, there is still time to buy a button for First Night Saratoga. They are selling them throughout New Year's Eve day. There is a list of road closures. Just go to our website, news10.com, for that information. Reporting in Saratoga Springs, I'm Rachel Yankunis for News 10 ABC.
725, 3 degrees right now. With some heavy snowfall already behind us this winter, there's bound to be more ahead, but snow removal, especially in these temperatures, can be hazardous. Watch out when walking on snow and ice, especially if you're clearing it off your roof. Make sure you're not home alone if clearing ice from your roof. If you fall, someone should be home to call for help. Also, dress properly for the freezing temperatures and take frequent breaks indoors to warm up and prevent frostbite. The effects of this bitter blast reaching far beyond the capital region. Where extremely low visibility led to this 40-car pileup, and which hard-hit state is expecting more lake-effect snow. And we're expecting to get our first glimpse of 2 people arrested for the quadruple homicide in Troy this morning. We'll head back out to City Court where we're awaiting their arraignment.
It is just frigid outside here on our weather deck. Temperatures feeling like below 6 degrees right now in Albany. Much more cold air is in the forecast, not only for this weekend, but into next week as well. I'll have that forecast for you coming up right after the break, so stick with us.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable. Your home for the most local news. News 10 ABC in the morning starts now.
2 arrests made in the brutal murder of 2 women and 2 kids in Troy. We're live at Troy City Court awaiting their arraignment. And frigid temperatures leave the capital region in a deep freeze. If you use propane, we have the simple steps to take to ensure you stay warm and safe during this cold spell. And does your husband sometimes act like another one of your kids? A new study says women are stressed out more by their spouse than they are by their children. We have what you're saying about this. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us. ABC's Mary Wilson here with Christina Ernie on this very cold Saturday morning.
Yeah, I was just outside trying to warm up like a shot of cold air when you head outside. It really takes your breath away when it is that cold. Temperatures well below 0 waking up this morning. Much more of that in the forecast as well. As we head into 2018, we'll take a look at some of our headlines for the next few days. First off, dangerously cold today and tomorrow. And even as we head into our New Year's Eve, the winds will be contributing factors to some really, really dangerous wind chills. We'll also see below temperatures into a lot of next week as well. Even the next 9 days, we're seeing these cold and well below 0 temperatures sticking around. Right now in Albany, 3 degrees. We're seeing 5-mile-an-hour winds, so it feels much more like -6 degrees outside. And even further north, we're seeing those temperatures much colder than that, spanning from -10 to -15 degrees waking up this morning. So if you have to go outside for any reason this morning, make sure you cover up as much skin as possible. Headed through the rest of the day, we see some clouds moving in from the west, along with some light snow showers. We will see some flurries to snow showers throughout the day today, mainly south of the capital region, but then we'll also see some lake effect north. So just a dusting to an inch across the region is what we can expect. Also, that wind chill advisory takes effect tonight into 6 p.m. Sunday. We're expected to see winds up to 25-30 miles an hour, and you add that to our already frigid temperatures, and it's going to feel like -15 to -25, giving us that very severe and dangerous frostbite risk as we head into our New Year's Eve. So coming up after the break, we'll talk about how long that cold is sticking around and exactly what you can expect for your New Year's Eve forecast. Mary?
All right, thank you, Christine. Breaking news this morning, 2 arrests have been made in connection to the homicide of 2 women and 2 children in Troy. News 10 ABC's Lexi Nall joins us live from Troy City Court this morning. Lexi, what do we know at this point?
In just about 2 hours, those 2 suspects, 1 hour, those 2 suspects will be arraigned right here at Troy City Court behind me. Now, so far, Troy PD has not been able to say much about the investigation, but they did say that the nature of these murders were just horrendous.
You'd have to be somewhat of a savage to commit this kind of a crime. I mean, for people, and the fact that you're dealing with little children, and that you could kill anybody, but killing children, and just the innocence that can't even defend themselves is just horrendous.
Now, throughout the investigation, city leaders and police have been urging people to drop the so-called street code to help them find whomever is behind the murders. At this moment, it is unclear who those 2 individuals are. I will be live with updates all morning as they do become available. Again, this arraignment does take place this morning at 8:30 a.m. That's just about 1 hour. For now, I'm live in Troy. Lexi Nall, News 10, ABC.
Yeah, and we will be talking with you, Lexi, at 9 o'clock for the latest on that. Happening now, Arctic blast affecting millions of Americans. Winter weather alerts in more than a dozen states, from right here in New York to Washington State. In Michigan, low visibility blamed for this 40-car pileup on US 31 near Muskegon. Tow trucks pulling cars off the median, closing the highway. In Chicago, police crews using torches to de-ice manhole covers. The sub-zero temperatures claiming at least 2 lives from hypothermia. For millions, it will be the coldest New Year's Eve in decades. Feeling like 8 below zero in Boston, a negative 25-degree wind chill in Minneapolis. You can get frostbite in just 30 minutes in this weather. And in hard-hit Erie, Pennsylvania, lake effect snow falling again overnight. With frigid temperatures chilling the region, people who use propane need to take a few extra steps to stay safe and warm. Look for snow and ice damage around tanks, chimneys, and vents. Experts also say to make sure you keep a path clear to access your propane tank. Also clear snow and ice from around the propane tanks. And when using a portable generator, never use it indoors, as that can cause carbon monoxide poisoning. New this morning, a concerning medical alert: the flu now spiking across the country. Listen to this. Just here in New York State, cases increased by 96% over the last week alone. There were just under 2,000 cases confirmed just last week. Influenza A seems to be the prominent strain so far this year. Almost every county in our area has a large number of cases. On a national scale, the number of states sickened with high flu levels more than doubled in the last week, now at 21. This season's vaccine isn't cutting it. Reportedly, only 10% effective against this year's prominent strain of the flu. Yet doctors still recommend that you get that shot.
Everybody who I've seen who've had flu, most of them have not had the flu shot. And the people who've had flu shot, their symptoms are much less.
Experts say since not everyone who has the flu goes to the doctor, the numbers are likely higher than reported. The CDC expects the flu will likely peak between now and the end of January, so this is a critical time to be vigilant about hand washing, and you do still have time to get a flu shot. A high-speed chase, suspect in custody. Vermont State Police say it was footprints in the snow that led the way. 26-year-old Jacob McAllister led officers on a high-speed chase last week, reaching speeds of 130 miles per hour. Take a look at this map. That's where the chase ended when McAllister crashed into several cars and a home in Walpole, New Hampshire. He got away on foot, but not before leaving something behind. Troopers found 250 bags of heroin in the car, along with stolen property. And then it happened again. The same man was involved in another chase 2 days later. This one in Putney, Vermont. This time, police say an officer was able to follow footprints in the snow to a garage where he was finally arrested. He's now facing multiple charges. If you're planning to travel to celebrate the new year, you're not alone. In fact, more people will be hitting the road than last year. According to TripAdvisor, 21% of Americans said they will be traveling to celebrate the holiday. Only a few of them will be coming back on the first day of 2018. The survey found that more than half of travelers will extend their trip until the 2nd or even past that. And just in time, all road work and construction projects will be temporarily suspended. It's all in an attempt to ease the holiday traffic. Governor Cuomo announcing all projects will be put on hold until 6 a.m. January 2nd. If things get out of hand New Year's Eve, authorities want to remind you that it's never safe to drink and drive. About a dozen DWI arrests are made on New Year's Eve in Albany County year after year, and alcohol fatalities double or even triple over the holidays.
There's absolutely no reason out there whatsoever that anybody has to get in a car after consuming alcohol.
Albany County continuing the Safe Ride Stop DWI program, offering discounted ride-sharing options, free cab rides, and free CDTA bus rides to keep drunk drivers off the road. Since the program started 33 years ago, the county hasn't had a single death related to drunk driving on New Year's Eve. Okay, does your husband stress you out more than your kids do? A new study suggests this may be the case in many households. A survey found that 46% of women say their husbands are causing more stress than their kids are. Doing most of the household and parenting duties and just not having enough time to are some of those contributing factors. Does it sound familiar to you? Let's head to Facebook now and find out what you're saying about this. First comment here from Heather, who says, completely depends on the relationship, communicating your wants and needs and listening to your partner. Finding equitable middle ground that works for your family unit is what keeps stress levels manageable. Some good advice there. Leanne says, my girlfriend used to say you have 5 children plus 1, as husbands are just big kids, only more demanding. Joseph says, quit blaming everything on the man or the woman. Every situation is unique. I can tell you being single and doing everything on your own is stressful. And Siraj says, I have an amazing husband. The stress the kids bring is lessened because of him. Now my ex, that's a whole different story. What's more, researchers from the University of Padova found that when husbands lose their wives, their health deteriorates. But when women lose their husbands, they actually become healthier and are better at coping with stress. Still to come, the frigid cold posing a safety threat to hikers. The New Year's hike in the Adirondacks, that's now been called off. And a trip to the salon may leave you with more than just a new set of nails. The sicknesses you could be picking up from those pampering sessions. First, a check of the roads this morning, I-90 at I-787. No traffic issues, but we know that everyone will be dealing with the cold today, sitting at 3 degrees right now. Welcome back, everyone. Your forecast first. Look at this excitement behind us.
I know. Planning anything for New Year's Eve?
Maybe a little bit of a getaway, but nothing that's going to be crazy and outside.
Yeah, and a lot of people are planning to go outside. I know I will certainly be staying away from the outdoors over the evening on New Year's Eve. A lot of people, though, are going to be braving it.
Yep.
But temperatures will be feeling like well below
kudos
zero.
To them.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start with our forecast for New Year's Eve, and we are planning to see -2 degrees for first night Saratoga, but you factor in some pretty significant wind chills, and it'll be feeling like -15 to -30 degrees. So that's at night. You want to try to stay indoors if you can, and if you're going outside to see the ball drop, just make sure you're bundled up. Looking at our Stewart Shop Storm Tracker weather cam from Stuyvesant Plaza early on this morning, really not a whole lot of sun waking up this morning. We are seeing mostly cloudy skies just ahead of a few light flakes moving into the region. So looking at that forecast first, we'll see around 6 degrees by 9 a.m. We'll finally break out of the single digits by around noontime, but we're staying mostly cloudy with some light snow showers, a dusting to near an inch across the region throughout the rest of the afternoon. As for what it's feeling like outside right now, our wind chills are sitting well below zero in most spots. It feels much more like -6 in Albany right now, -12 waking up in Johnstown, -6 in Lake Pleasant, and -8 in Glens Falls. North Adams, you're also at -3 degrees. So that's what you should be dressing for if you have to leave the house early on this morning. Otherwise, we will be seeing that snow moving into the region throughout the day today. Very quick moving clipper system delivering us those light snow showers. Again, just a dusting to an inch in the higher elevations, but we will stay mostly cloudy and a bit snowy all day long. So looking through our future cast, just those light flurries passing, and they'll be on and off again throughout the day today, clearing up around 5 or so. Once that sun goes down, we'll start to see them dissipate, those flurries exiting the region. Overnight, we'll clear out, so by Sunday, we're actually going to see mostly clear skies. That's what's going to drop our temperatures a whole lot. But also throughout the day Sunday, our winds increase, making it dangerously cold as we head towards our New Year's Eve. So that wind chill factor, quite the concern. And that's why we do have a wind chill advisory in place tonight, and I expect we'll have one for tomorrow night as well, with those temperatures feeling much more like -25 to -30 in spots. So for today, 17 degrees is what it will feel like with some lighter winds across the region. Frigid with some light snow showers. We get very, very cold overnight tonight, a low of 3 with winds picking up a bit up to 12 miles an hour. So sub-zero wind chills heading into the night tonight. By Sunday, only a high around 10 degrees. Then those winds kick up as well, so ringing in the new year, just downright frigid and feeling much colder than it is. Overall, next week, we don't see any major snow showers or storms on the horizon, just dangerously cold temperatures sticking around.
For quite a while here.
Yeah, absolutely. At least for the next 9 days, we're seeing it. Beyond our 7-day forecast, no relief from these below zero temperatures.
All right. Thank you, Christina. New details now. The dangerous cold prompting environmental officials to cancel its annual first-day hike in the Adirondacks. They're usually scheduled across the state to celebrate the new year, but officials say temperatures will be too low to safely hold the events. The hike to the summit of Stillwater Mountain is now rescheduled for Monday, January 15th. When it comes to your pets, they already have a fur coat, but when temperatures drop below 0, they can have a lot of trouble keeping warm. Experts say even just a couple minutes outside in the extreme cold can be bad for your pooches. Consider buying one of those fashionable winter coats and don't keep them outside for longer than you have to.
It's the same dangers that it poses to humans. You know, it's the same thing. If it's too cold for a person to be out there, it's too cold for them.
Most importantly, never leave your dogs or cats outside overnight. Not providing adequate shelter is considered animal cruelty. So if you see a pet left out in the cold, authorities say you should call the SPCA. For many, nothing goes along with the holiday spirit like spirits, but overindulging can be a real headache in more ways than one. Simple precautions can keep that from happening, though, so here are some tips to avoid that dreaded hangover that no one wants. First of all, stay hydrated. When you drink alcohol, it suppresses the natural production of a hormone that regulates when you go to the bathroom, meaning you'll be losing more water than usual. Also, eat potassium-rich foods. You don't want to lose essential minerals like potassium that's critical for fighting fatigue. So bring along a banana with you to the bar, maybe, or any potassium-rich foods. And remember, do not drink on an empty stomach. That can be bad. Eating on an empty stomach eating first will slow the alcohol from being absorbed by the body too fast. This weekend, CDTA is trying to make sure that everyone is getting around the Electric City safely this New Year's Eve, so they'll be running their trolley. It's a free service around the region on New Year's Eve to get everyone safely where they're going from 4 to 1 a.m. on Sunday. It will stop throughout the city about every 20 minutes. Recently, the app was developed, City Finder, that helps people track that trolley, stops along the route, and points of interest. Holiday parties and New Year's gatherings mean more trips to the nail and the hair salons for some, but if you're not careful, you might end up picking up more than you bargained for. In a recent survey of nail and hair salon clients, more than 2/3 said they'd had health issues after visiting a salon. Those include skin problems, fungal infections, and respiratory symptoms. Tools that aren't properly sterilized can pass fungi and bacteria from client to client, and some services involve exposure to potentially hazardous chemicals. The survey shows reported problems were more common at nail salons than they were at hair salons. Something that's been more nauseating for New York football fans, the Giants season. But now the team has the man they think will be able to save them from another atrocious season next year. They introduced their new general manager, Dave Gettleman. The message he sent was that he'll work relentlessly to rebuild the roster to a championship caliber team, stressing that defense wins championships. But listen to his take on Eli Manning.
He and I are going to talk, and if what I saw in Philadelphia was not a mirage, and I don't believe it was, then we'll just keep moving.
Gettleman also hinted at keeping Odell Beckham Jr. on the team. So what does the new GM mean for the team? Well, our analysts will discuss that on the New York Blitz Sunday morning at 10:30 over on Fox 23, right after New England Nation. Final look at the forecast is coming up right now, 7:49, 3 degrees. But first, here is your Snow Country Snapshot.
Happy holidays, everybody. Hallie O'Brien with your Snow Country Snapshot here at Windham Mountain in New York's Catskills. Less than 2 hours from New York City, Windham is a great place to escape to the mountains, get some fresh air, and take some runs. And thanks to some great wintry weather from Mother Nature early on and dedicated snowmaking efforts, Windham is already nearing 100% open across its 285 acres. New this year to Windham is the award-winning beginner program, Terrain-Based Learning. These different snow shapes help beginners slide on snow and have fun from the very start. For example, the bank turns help you make your first turns, and it's super fun. It's kind of like riding a mini border cross course. And Windham's Own It program is perfect for the first-timer that wants to get geared up and on snow. Not only will you walk away with 3 days on snow, you'll get a new pair of skis or a new snowboard. It's awesome. Have a happy holiday and get outside and have some fun. For more weather conditions and events, head over to snowcountry.com, and I'll see you next week.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable.
Frigid weather for our forecast first. Good morning, everybody. On the Saturday morning, it's feeling like -6 degrees right now in Albany. So cold, and that's going to stick with us for a while, even as we head into our New Year's Eve. So speaking of our New Year's Eve, let's talk about what we typically see for our low temperatures. So our record low temperature for New Year's Eve is -18 degrees, and while we are not planning to reach -18 in terms of our temperature, you add in that wind chill factor we're going to see tomorrow, and it will be likely feeling like this. In the past few years, though, we haven't seen that cold weather for New Year's Eve, so a lot of happy people out there celebrating in 2017, only 19 degrees for a low, 30 degrees for our low in 2016 as well. Our average low temperature right around 16 degrees as well this year. We're drawing that short straw. It's going to feel very cold. You add in those wind chills, so you're not going to want to be spending much time outside at all the next few nights. Headed through the day today, we will see light snow shower activity across the region. We're looking at just a dusting to an inch in the higher elevations. All of that clearing out as the sun goes down tonight. Clear skies is what's going to lead us to see those temperatures very, very cold overnight tonight. That's why we have a wind chill advisory in place. It'll actually be feeling like -15 to -30 across the region overnight tonight. And as we head into Sunday, the wind chill advisory is still in effect with winds up to 25 miles an hour. So a stretch of cold weather starting with today, 17 degrees for our high, mostly cloudy with those light snow showers, mainly south of the capital region, but the North Country also will be seeing a little lake effect pickup as well. By tonight, a lot of that does clear out, those flurries just ending, but sub-zero wind chills. Our winds pick up to 12 miles an hour with that low of 3, so it'll be feeling like well below 0 across the region. Even colder as we head into our Sunday, the last day of 2017, 10 degrees, windy and frigid. We don't see any major snowstorms as we ring in the new year with the first week of 2018, but we do see temperatures excruciatingly cold, barely getting out of the mid-20s all week long.
All right, thanks, Christina. And this morning, we are continuing to follow that breaking news out of Troy. Police confirming they've arrested 2 people in connection to the gruesome murders there, the quadrupled murder. They're expected to be arraigned this morning around 8:30 for the deaths of a mother, her 2 children, and her partner. All 4 of them found dead in a basement apartment the day after Christmas. We're going to be live at City Court with an update at 9 o'clock. Final look now at the 7-day.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the day today, expect temperatures right around 17 degrees. But by tomorrow, we really have to be concerned with those winds. It'll be feeling well below 0 outside for our last day of 2017. And as we ring in the new year, it's only 9 degrees for Monday for our high temperature. So we got to get used to the cold.
So it's hard to get used to that wind, though.
Yeah, tough.
All right. Thanks, Christina. Thanks so much for joining us. We're back in just 1 hour. Good Morning America's next.